unlock your world one word at a time, because language isn't just about learning, it's about living. Learning a new language isn't just about words. It's about expanding your horizons, enhancing your career, and connecting with people globally. Whether you are a language learner or educator, the Languages Pedagogy Podcast is your go-to resource for expert insights, innovative strategies, and practical tips to supercharge your language journey. Tune in now to sharpen your skills, deepen your understanding, and join a community passionate about the power of language. Let's get started. Wonderful listeners, welcome back to another exciting episode of your podcast, Languages Pedagogy Podcast. Today we're diving into a fascinating and often overlooked aspect of language learning, the role of emotions. We often focus on techniques, resources, and routines, but emotions are just as crucial in shaping our language learning experience. Emotions influence everything from motivation and memory retention to confidence and risk-taking. Positive emotions like excitement and curiosity can drive us forward, while negative emotions like fear, frustration, and anxiety can hold us back. But the good news is that by understanding and managing our emotions, we can harness them to improve our learning outcomes. In today's episode, we'll explore the ways emotions impact the language learning process, how to manage emotions that get in the way, and strategies to create an emotionally supportive learning environment. This is a deep dive into psychology of language learning that I'm sure you'll find both insightful and practical. Let's dive in and uncover the power of emotions in language learning.
Audio Jungle.
And before we dive into specific emotions and their effects, let's look at why emotions matter so much in learning from a scientific perspective. First, emotions and the brain. Emotions play a powerful role in learning because they affect how our brain processes and stores information. When we experience positive emotions like excitement or curiosity, our brains release dopamine, which enhances our ability to absorb and retain new information. Negative emotions like stress or anxiety trigger the release of cortisol, which can interfere with memory formation and make it harder to focus. Second, the impact on memory. Emotions directly impact memory retention. Research shows that emotional experiences are easier to remember because they create a stronger neural imprint. This is why learners who enjoy the language learning process tend to remember vocabulary and phrases better, while learners who experience frequent frustration or stress may struggle to recall information. Third, affecting motivation and engagement. Emotions also influence motivation. When we feel happy, proud, or engaged, we're more motivated to continue learning. Negative emotions, on the other hand, can lead to a lack of motivation and, in some cases, cause people to give up entirely. Fourth, learning environment and emotions. Our environment plays a huge role in shaping our emotions during learning. Positive environments that encourage curiosity and celebrate effort tend to foster positive emotions. In contrast, high-stress environments, whether a high-pressure classroom or a perfectionistic mindset, can lead to negative emotions that hinder progress. What are the takeaways here? Emotions have a real physical impact on our ability to learn. Understanding how different emotions affect the brain and body can help us create a learning experience that is both effective and enjoyable. Now, let's talk about some of the positive emotions that can significantly enhance the language learning process. First, curiosity. Curiosity is a powerful motivator. When we are genuinely interested in a language or culture, we're more likely to engage with the learning material. Curiosity drives us to ask questions, explore more deeply, and stay committed over the long term. This emotion can make learning feel like a rewarding journey rather than a chore. Here's an exercise. Identify a topic or aspect of the culture associated with your target language that you are curious about, whether it's the food, music, or history. Incorporate this into your learning routine by exploring material related to that topic, like watching a documentary or reading an article. Second, joy and playfulness. Finding joy in learning makes it easier to retain information. Approaching language learning with a sense of playfulness, whether through language games, fun apps, or cultural immersion, can reduce stress and make the process more enjoyable. Joy and laughter create positive associations with the language, making it more likely that you'll stick with it. Here's an exercise. Incorporate a playful activity into your routine, like watching a funny show or using a Gamify app. Focus on enjoying the process without worrying about perfection. Third, pride and accomplishment. Setting achievable goals and celebrating small wins can generate feelings of pride and accomplishment, which reinforce motivation. When you feel good about your progress, you're more likely to keep pushing forward, even when challenges arise. Here's another exercise that you can actually do. Set a small goal, like learning 5 new words each day. When you achieve it, take a moment to celebrate acknowledging the progress you're making. Fourth, empathy and connection. Language is a tool for connection, and fostering empathy for the culture and people who speak your target language can deepen your emotional commitment. Feeling connected to a community makes learning more meaningful, helping you push through challenging moments. Here's another exercise that you can actually practice. Reach out to someone who speaks your target language, whether through a language exchange or connecting online. Interacting with native speakers can build a sense of empathy and make the language feel more alive and relevant. What are the takeaways here? Positive emotions like curiosity, joy, pride, and empathy can make learning more effective and enjoyable. Find ways to incorporate these emotions into your routine to enhance your language learning experience. While positive emotions drive us forward, negative emotions can create obstacles in our learning journey. Let's discuss some of the most common negative emotions and how they impact the learning process. Anxiety. Anxiety is one of the most common emotions that language learners experience, especially when it comes to speaking. Anxiety can make you freeze up, overthink every word, or even avoid practicing altogether. High levels of anxiety interfere with memory and focus, making it harder to learn and remember new information. Second, frustration. Learning a language can be frustrating, especially when progress feels slow. Frustration often leads to self-doubt and the temptation to give up. When frustration builds up, it becomes challenging to stay motivated, which can hinder long-term success. Third, fear of failure. Many learners struggle with the fear of making mistakes, especially when speaking. This fear can lead to a perfectionistic mindset, where you avoid using the language until you feel ready or fluent. But the reality is that mistakes are a crucial part of learning, and avoiding them only delays progress. Fourth, impatience. Language learning is a long process, and it's natural to feel impatient at times. However, impatience can lead to unrealistic expectations and discourage you from sticking to a consistent routine. If you are constantly rushing, you're less likely to enjoy the process and more likely to burn out. What are the takeaways here? Negative emotions like anxiety, frustration, fear, and impatience can hinder learning if they are not managed. Recognizing these emotions and addressing them head on is essential for maintaining a healthy and productive learning experience. And now that we've identified some of the negative emotions that can interfere with learning, let's talk about strategies to manage them. First, reframe mistakes as learning opportunities. Mistakes are not failures. They're a natural and necessary part of the learning process. When you make a mistake, try to see it as feedback rather than a failure. Remind yourself that each mistake brings you one step closer to improvement. Second, practice mindfulness. When anxiety or frustration start to creep in, practicing mindfulness can help you stay grounded. Take a few deep breaths, focus on the present moment, and remind yourself why you're learning the language. Mindfulness can reduce stress and help you approach learning with a calm, open mindset. Third, set realistic goals. If impatience is a recurring issue, set smaller, achievable goals to give yourself a sense of progress. Focus on the journey, not just the destination. Language learning is a marathon, not a sprint, and setting realistic expectations can prevent frustration and burnout. Fourth, build a supported community. Having a community of fellow learners or a supportive teacher can make a big difference. Surround yourself with people who encourage you and celebrate your progress, no matter how small. Feeling supported can reduce anxiety and boost your confidence. Fifth, take breaks when needed. If you're feeling overwhelmed or discouraged, just take a break. Stepping away from learning temporarily can help you regain perspective and return with renewed motivation. Breaks are essential for avoiding burnout and maintaining a positive attitude. Here's an exercise. Practice reframing one recent mistake as a learning opportunity. Write down what you learned from it and how it can help you in the future. Now, as a whole, what are the takeaways here? Managing negative emotions involves reframing your mindset, practicing mindfulness, setting achievable goals, building a supportive community, and knowing when to take breaks. Now, one of the best ways to manage emotions in language learning is by creating an environment that fosters positive emotions and reduces negative ones. First, personalize your learning space. Create a physical or digital space that feels welcoming and inspiring. Whether it's a cozy corner with your favorite books or a well-organized app on your phone, make sure your learning space is somewhere you want to spend time. Second, incorporate your interest. Tailor your language learning to include topics and activities where you're learning genuinely and you feel interested in. If you love cooking, for example, watch recipe videos in your target language. If you enjoy music, find songs to listen to. This connection to your interests can create positive emotions that make learning enjoyable. Third, use positive reinforcement. Reward yourself for your progress. Celebrate small wins and milestones to create positive association with learning. Positive reinforcement can boost motivation and make you look forward to each study session. Fourth, Practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself. Language learning is challenging and it's natural to encounter setbacks. Practice self-compassion by recognizing your efforts and treating yourself with patience. Self-compassion can counterbalance feelings of frustration or disappointment. Fifth, set a balanced routine. Avoid cramming or overloading your study sessions. A balanced routine that includes breaks and variety will help you maintain a positive emotional state and prevent burnout. Here's something that you can actually do. Create a learning environment checklist. Note down any changes you can make to personalize your learning space. Incorporate your interest and add positive reinforcement into your routine. As a whole here, what are the takeaways? An emotionally supportive environment can make language learning more enjoyable and effective. Small changes to your space and routine can have a big impact on your emotional well-being. And finally, let's discuss how to harness positive emotions to accelerate your learning and make the progress even more rewarding. Well, first, celebrate progress regularly. Make it a habit to reflect on your achievements, even if they seem small. Regularly celebrating your progress keeps you motivated and reinforces positive feelings towards the language. Second, seek out positive feedback. Share your progress with supportive friends, teachers, or language exchange partners. Positive feedback can boost your confidence and help you see your own improvement from an outsider's perspective. Third, immerse yourself in enjoyable content. Find content that you love in your target language. Whether it's a favorite TV show, a novel, or a podcast, immersing yourself in enjoyable content strengthens your connection to the language and keeps you excited to learn more. Fourth, focus on meaningful interactions. If possible, engage in real conversations where you can connect with others. This builds a sense of accomplishment and shows you that your learning is leading to real-world results. And something that you can do here. Write down 3 positive learning experiences you've had recently and how they made you feel. Reflect on ways to create similar experiences in the future. And what do we have here? As a whole, positive emotions drive motivation and retention. By actively seeking out enjoyable content, celebrating progress, and focusing on meaningful interactions, you'll accelerate your learning. And as we wrap up today's episode, remember that language learning isn't just an intellectual journey, it's an emotional one. Emotions can either help you soar or hold you back. And understanding this can make all the difference. By recognizing and managing your emotions, you can create a learning experience that is effective, fulfilling, and sustainable. And before heading to the next part, I actually hope you enjoyed today's episode. And I also wanted to remind you that new episodes drop every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So make sure to tune in weekly for your dose of thought-provoking conversations. You can also find our show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. You can also pay a visit to our website, MikeEnglishOnline.com, for a lot of materials, resources that you can actually use for your own learning or to teach as well. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and follow us for more. And thank you so much for joining me on the Languages Pedagogy podcast. I love to hear about your own experiences with emotions in language learning. How have emotions impacted your journey? And what strategies do you use to stay positive? Until next time, stay curious, stay kind to yourself, and embrace the emotional journey of language learning.